This is a video record of work carried out on the creation of the Fladbury Nature Reserve as a memorial to its founder, the late Peter Bugg. All successful projects require a well thought out plan, and this one is no exception. The site, of approximately 1 hectare in size, which runs west to east adjacent to the railway line, was divided into plots as shown here. The site has 3 entrances. This is the field entrance, about to be accessed by EVG and their tractor to scarify the ground for us. Site clearance involved a lot of rubbish removal, including conversion of one of the sheds into a bird hide and the complete removal of an old, dangerous asbestos shed. The first of our 5 plots consists largely of overgrown Christmas trees, which has mostly been left untouched. Plot 2 is where the old sheds are, and is where we decided to create a shallow pond for wildlife to enjoy. Plot 3 is bordered by a row of old damson trees and marks the start of where many of the old Christmas trees were grown. Only a few remain now, and the job here is to remove the old roots. I'm pleased to say that existing wildlife took great interest in what we're doing and weren't at all disturbed by it. Plot 4 is where we decided we would create a wildflower meadow, and this required the most attention, both in terms of removing tree roots, power scarifying and sowing seed. Final preparation involved a lot of hand picking and collecting of tree roots and then burning them. The power harrow provided by EVG was an essential tool and saved us many hours of work. A butyl pond liner had been put down, and Cotswold stone edging had also been prepared. Enough pond liner to make another small pond on plot 3. A final session of power harrowing was carried out, this time by smart cut, to create a much finer tilth immediately prior to seed sowing. The end result was a fantastically clean site and a beautiful fine tilth on the soil, all ready for seed sowing. Seed sowing commenced on the 10th of May 2018 with a ceremonial seed sowing session attended by members of Peter's family and a number of his friends from the local community. The main seed sowing on plot 4 was carried out using a lawn fertiliser spreader containing silver sand mixed with wildflower seed that Peter had purchased from a reputable British wildflower seed supplier. The site was then raked over and then hand rolled in order to ensure the seed was in good contact with the soil. By July, there had been some germination of our wildflower seed, but during the course of our cultivation, we had exposed dormant wildflower seed in the form of fat hen and mallow. The first growing season wasn't as good as we'd hoped, but there were encouraging signs in the form of corn cockles, St. John's wort, poppies, and one or two other favourites. Apart from tree root removal, plot 3 was left untouched, and the natural grasses allowed to grow, which the butterflies absolutely loved. The piles of tree roots formed a natural habitat for wildlife, so these have just been left, and already St. John's wort has grown around them. This is a soil mound for ground nesting bees. Bird boxes were installed and insect hotels made from a variety of scrap wood. To give the pond a more natural look and to allow creatures to enter and escape from the water, we installed a wood surround. And a stone hibernaculum for creatures to hibernate in over winter. We rescued a number of existing fruit trees. These are mainly Victoria plum, and there are others in the railway hedgerow. It was pleasing to see that the first form of wildlife were butterflies enjoying some of the thistle nectar. Finally, after the removal of some of the fat hen and thistles, our wildflowers had emerged and presented a feast of nectar and pollen for foraging insects. Slow worms were found there too, along with solitary bees and predatory wasps. Standing deadwood was left for insects to hibernate in, and fly agaric fungi was found in the wooded area of plot 1. During the course of removing some brambles, we discovered a total of 13 old fruit trees. These were plum and apple, so we set about rescuing them completely by removing all the brambles and burning them. At the end of the first growing season, we engaged the services of Smart Cut once again, this time to flail cut and remove all the wildflower top growth, which we then finished off by mowing by hand and raking off, thereby reducing the fertility in the soil, ready for a new oversow of fresh seed. The final activity in the first season was to put down a pathway for pedestrian walking to guide them through the pleasant areas of the nature reserve. Daffodil bulbs were planted ready for the spring. We are extremely grateful to all those who made kind donations in the form of benches, tables and chairs, all in the memory of our good friend Peter Bugg. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.